Hello and welcome. It's Lenny. So, I wanted to do a video with regards to the wheelchair because it's been about 6 months since I started getting in it, and I wanted to tell you like how I found it and what the sort of issues are, and maybe like the things that you've thought of and maybe the things you haven't, because I never really thought about half of it, to be honest, before it. So, I'll start from the beginning. Obviously, the first time I sat in, being the fact that I had no sitting tolerance, and um, I hadn't been able to sit round or anything for a long time, so my blood pressure and everything wasn't used to sitting with my legs down, and it makes a massive difference because you get like a rush of blood to your feet, and it's really strange. And also, like, you're keeping yourself upright, because I'm used to, obviously the bed would do it, because I'd just be sitting up in bed. I'd have the back of the bed up, so, and I would go very pale and shaky and feel very lightheaded. My feet would go um, itchy, strangely, and then they'd start to sting, and then they would go numb. Um, and they would obviously discolour. My whole of my legs discoloured. It was kind of like the physio said, like the blood was coming to the surface of the skin. Um, so I've had to build up my sitting tolerance over time. So obviously at first I was sitting for like 10 minutes, and then I've increased it by 10 minutes every couple of weeks type of thing, or a little bit sooner if I felt okay. So I've gone from sitting for 5 or 10 minutes right up to now, where 6 months later, where I can sit for about 3.5 hours. Um, so that's just like a massive improvement, because it's like being able to get somewhere and like stay there for a while. um, so obviously the first time I went out, I just sort of went outside of my door, which is literally along the path round. Um, and that was just amazing, just to have that freedom. Like the freedom it gives is unreal. It's just fantastic. Like I can't ever explain how great it is after being stuck in my room for so long. I think it must have been about 2 years, 2.5 years maybe. Apart from going to appointments, I hadn't really been able to get out. So yeah, to have that was just phenomenal, and you know, it cried me eyes out, which is, I cry for everything, to be fair. So it's not really a thing. If someone tap me on the telly, I'll cry for them. If it's someone sat on the telly, I'll cry with them. So yeah. Um, so obviously over that time I've slowly built up, and what I noticed in the beginning is I used to get a lot of shoulder aches, neck aches. Like, I guess that was just off keeping myself up, and also when you're outside, especially just around, well, I think everywhere's the same. The paths and the pavements are so bumpy, like you don't think about it when you're walking it, because it's just, you don't feel it. But obviously there's no suspension in the wheelchair, so you feel every little thing, and it's just like constantly, like it's like being the bubbly head doll thing where it's just bouncing around. So I did suffer a lot of like upper shoulder neck pain, whilst I got used to it. And then obviously I started to progress and go further afield and things like that. Um, and it's just, it's been great. But the first time we went anywhere, like away from round the doors, because I'd gone all over around here, but I hadn't really gone anywhere major, so I would only cross like the little roads that were sort of round the doors for me. Um, but after so many weeks of doing that, it was quite boring. It isn't boring because it's still getting outside, but you know what I mean. I wanted more. So Laura was taking the dog to the park, so I said, I'll come to the park with you because I could sit for about an hour. So I thought, right, well, by this time. So this was in the June, and no, could I sit for? I think I could sit for 45 minutes. That was right. So the park is like 10 minutes away or something. So I went with her, but it was just so stressful because I didn't know where the dropped curbs were, and it was a lot of like sort of going so far forward and then coming back, and it was just really stressful. Hadn't had like real anxiety for a long time, but I just had this such pressure and this intense fear, and I just felt horrible. And my daughter was like, "Do you want to go home?" And I was like, "No," because I thought if I don't fight it now, I'll never come back. Do you know what I mean? I kind of felt like I wouldn't do it if I didn't do it. So we eventually got there. I didn't enjoy being there though because all I could think about was I've got to go back. You know what I mean? And stress about where the curbs dropped and how. I mean, I spent a lot of time on the road, um, and it wasn't the best thing. Um, but coming back, to be honest, wasn't as hard. But I just couldn't wait to get in. And then I got in, and my daughter was meeting her dad, so she left to go meet her dad. And I remember just crying my eyes out because I think it was just like this sort of pent up, that sort of pent up anxiety kind of thing. I just sort of all just came out, and I think it was just the realization that this idea that I'd had in my head of like, oh, I'll just jump in the wheelchair and I'll zoom all over and go where I want and do what I want and I'll be great and all that wasn't quite as simple in reality. Um, so I think it was just a bit of all of that. But at the same time, I was proud that I'd actually continued it and did it because, so like obviously, the old me would have just, well, fuck, I wouldn't have been outside anyway. But like before that, I would have just, no, it's too hard. You know what I mean, kind of thing. Um, so I'm pleased. I'm pleased I did it. So then, we progressed on and went on uh, to the shops, but so many things are in the way. It's just like things that you don't think about. So if something's on the floor, like there's a lot of trees around here, so there's a lot of sticks and stuff on the floor. So, I suppose if it's just a little one, it's fine. But otherwise, you're trying to avoid it and you have to go certain ways and stuff. And then, for instance, dog dirt. Like, obviously, it's not like it used to be when I was a kid, it was everywhere. But the odd time, there's some. And, it's kind of like I've got my wheelchair's got four wheels and then it's got a centre wheel at the back that sticks off. So if I avoid it with the four wheels, you can guarantee I'll hit it with the centre wheel at the back. And I did exactly the same thing with snails, poor things, because like I was like, oh, in the rain I was trying to avoid them, and then I'd hit it with the back wheel and go, oh no. But like it was just, it couldn't be helped. It was kind of like you trying your best. There was like the conch, the what are they called? The conch shells, with all the prickles on. I was trying to avoid them as well. I was like, you know, it's just things that you don't think about. Like obviously the bumpy ground, the trying to avoid them, and then the drop curbs, and the amount of places that isn't a drop curb is actually unreal. Or there's drop curbs that are just not even properly done. They've got like edges on like that, and then they're not like, or the damaged. I mean, it's just so bad in some places. And then you've got idiots who just like to park across them, which frustrates the life out of me now. So in order to get to Tesco and B&M and all that, like I've talked about in previous videos, you have to go down this street that has a few shops on one side. So it's got like a hairdresser's, a sandwich shop, a newsagent, and a florist, I think. And people park around there and they just totally cover the curb the dropped curb where I get back onto the path completely. So that means I have to go across the road a lot. Quite often have to drive on the road. Like, for instance, when we went out today, I had to drive pretty much on the road the whole time because it's bin collection day, so there was just bins all over the path. So there's nothing I could do. I just had to drive along the road. And again, it's not, being bin collection day, I would never have thought like how that would be awkward for someone, but it is. um, and then obviously going to the shops, you've got like so the likes of B&M and Poundland and everything, they absolutely ram their aisles with baskets and displays. It's just ridiculous. Like, it's so stressful for me because they just always seem to be in the way. And I feel so awkward, like just like apologizing to people like all the time. I mean, especially in the beginning, I was just like, sorry, you know what I mean? So like, I mean, I'm not so bad now. I don't realize I don't have to apologize for nothing 90% of the time. But yeah, I suppose like in comparison to like the supermarket, which has very few things displayed in the aisles, so there's just loads of space like in there, so it's really good. And it's so smooth, when you go into that kind of floor compared to like the pavements outside. But it I think it's just obviously like the height of things. So like, as long as my daughter's with us, I can get things from whatever height, low, high. Obviously, if it isn't, I'd have to ask. And then there's sometimes people when they they, they stare at you. Um, and I sometimes get like a sympathy, what I call a sympathy smile afterwards. It's kind of like just to get like that. It's kind of, I can't even do a sympathy smile, but yeah, they do like a sympathy smile, and it's just like, I don't know, it's strange. Or then just some people don't realise they're staring, or they try to be helpful when I don't need it, or they kind of assume that my brain doesn't work either, um, which can be quite awkward. So they try and take away things that I can do in some cases. If I'm just looking at something, they like come over and try and get things for it, and I'm like, I don't need anything, I don't want that. Or I can get it, it's fine, you know what I mean? And I know people are just trying to be helpful. But yeah, it's sometimes really, really awkward. And then things not being like wide enough and stuff. And then like, it's just really, I wrote some stuff down. Yeah, but I never follow anything I write down. I don't know why I do it. It's like, doesn't make sense. But yeah, I, I think it's just like it's amazing, don't get us wrong, because it's given us some like freedom, it's given us the ability to go outside and live my life a little bit more. Um, but every time I get something, I just want more. And I want it like fast as a racing car or something. So I give my wheelchair a nickname. It was called Meccano, but my daughter's changed it to Robo bitch, which I think suits her better. The thing is that like, if you go forward in it and the wheels aren't straight, so if you're going forward round a corner, that's the best way of saying it, and you want to go a different way because you've gone too far forward and you're going to crash, in order for the wheels to go the other way, it has to go forward still. So it kind of like, you go, I don't think I'd do an impression, but you go forward and round, but then you want to go that way because you're going to crash, you kind of have to still go forward to turn, so you still kind of crash. So, I mean, I'm used to it better now than I used to be, so I don't crash myself so much. But I have took the side of there's like going through the doorway in my bedroom into the sitting room. There's a like the stencil at the side, and I've got like a foam on the arm on one of the wheelchairs, and I've literally took some of the foam off, took a chunk of it out, crashing into the side of there because it's really close. It's like it's so close. It's like you have to be totally straight, and I'm not really that like. In the beginning, I wasn't really good at it. I'm much better now, like obviously. And I always thought I'd be scared of the speed, but I like going everywhere fast. Um, so that's something. And I think that the only other point I was going to make is I feel more vulnerable next to the road, and it's weird because obviously, being when you're walking, you're just as vulnerable next to the road as you are as I would be in the wheelchair. You know, if a truck came, it's like, you know, you're just as vulnerable in the wheelchair as standing. But for some reason, I just feel worse. Like I don't like I don't know if it's just because I feel like it'll break down in the middle of the road or something, or if it's just something, I don't know. Um, it's a strange one. It's like, you know, um, I think it's just a kind of like, you know, I just want to get across, get off the road, get away from them. I don't even like sort of going along, even if I'm at the side of it, at the side of the main road type of thing. I think it's just something about the cars speeding past. Maybe I'm just jealous because they speed past and I want to be involved. I want to go that fast. No, maybe. Who knows? They should do some sort of like wheelchair races, shouldn't they? Like a load of older ladies. Why am I calling them older ladies when I am one? That's like not right, is it? Load of us wheelchair ladies are like going round. What could we do is like put each other off and stuff. I will think of something. God, I've got weird ideas and anyway, I just kind of wanted to do an update on how the past 6 months with the wheelchair has been, and obviously overall it's been amazing, really amazing. Like I can't believe how much has changed. You know, from going around my dad's to meeting him in the cafe, from going to Tesco's to B&M to Poundland to the park to another park to the pub today. You know, it's all these things in the last 6 months. Going in the shower, it's just amazing. I've I did another post. I did another video with regards to like what was going on with me in life in general and how I was feeling and blah blah. And I had been feeling a bit meh kind of thing, just oh meh. How do you even say that? I don't even know. Just been feeling a bit. Yeah, I've just been feeling a bit. I just make me wonder. So yeah, and like I feel so much better, and even just talking through that and then seeing all those things that's happened, it's just amazing. Um, so yeah, so just gonna keep on rolling. They see me rolling. No, I shouldn't sing. It's not good. But yeah, thanks very much for watching. I hope this gives you a bit of understanding. Um, Oh, actually, what I didn't mention was what I realised is a good thing to do is to use Google Maps. What I realise is a good thing to do is to use Google Maps to plot where I'm going, to plan the route, because I can look on there, I can see what the curbs are like, I can see if the path's wide enough, I can see where each one is that I need to go to, and it helps relieve a bit of the anxiety of it. Because wherever I go somewhere for the first time, I'm always a little bit more anxious because I'm not really sure how it's going to be, if I can get through places, will it be wide enough, will the path be curbs there, will there be curb drops be wide enough for us to get down, low enough for us to get down, not wide enough, why am I talking shite? Um, yeah, so this video is a bit jumpy all over, but this is kind of me. I'm kind of thinking that is my style, and so I just have to go with it because it ain't gonna get better, is it? Anyway, I've talked for 22 minutes now. It's no surprise given that it's me. So thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and do the chicken dance. Bye.